So, Senator Sessions, one time I was admitted into the hospital because I was having depression bouts and stress bouts. And so, Senator Sessions, I gave him a call from the hospital and said to recuse himself because Trump is being investigated with Rex Tillerson for corruption of Exxon oil deals in the Russian Arctic. So, Senator Sessions recused himself and stepped aside. And he appointed Rob Rosenstein to take over the case. And so Rob Rosenstein took over the case, and Rob Rosenstein started subpoenaing because before I went to the hospital, I reached out to Congressman Nunez on the Intel Committee, and I left a message in his voicemail box. I left a message in both co-chairs, Intel, sharing the Russian collusion investigation with Russia, Trump's collusion with Exxon and Rex Tillerson for the Russian Arctic, how it interfered with violations of the Emoluments Clause and quid pro quo regulations that governs corruptions and political corruptions and business dealings that have nothing to do with official business as far as being a president. So when the committee was formed, the Russian Collusion Investigation Committee, I left messages in Congressman Schiff and Nunez voicemail box. I have fax records to prove it, and I left messages in their mailbox, voicemail in their office phones, mailbox inside of their Congress offices. So I left messages for Congressman Schiff and Nunez. But what Nunez started doing when the FBI and Rosenstein started subpoenaing, because Nunez went over to the White House and started spilling the beans to Trump. He ran over, it was called the Pizzagate scandal. So Nunez ran over when I left the messages. Already this time, Senator Sessions recused himself because Senator Sessions, before Trump was sworn into office, was having unofficial conversations with the Russian foreign ministers. And they already know that Trump was laying down in bed with Rex Tillerson in the Russian Arctic. So Senator Sessions did the wise move and recused himself. And he put Rosenstein in charge. So Rosenstein with Christopher Wray started subpoenaing. They already knew that Nunez was spilling the beans to Trump. And the Pizzagate scandal, he was leaking to Trump. And so Trump started he started firing Rod Rosenstein and appointed Whitaker. So Whitaker started tying Rob Rosenstein hands behind his back and preventing Christopher Wray from seizing the phones that they seized from Kash Patel and Nunez. Because Nunez always had it in him to make deals with Trump, for Trump to bribe him to be incentivized to leak out intel in order for Trump to skate the law with Exxon. So Nunez, soon as the investigation was over, because he leaked out intel for Trump to obstruct Robert Mueller, Nunez got a cushy job at Truth Social. But Whitaker was appointed to obstruct Rob Rosenstein. That's why when Nunez leaked out to Trump, Trump fired Rob Rosenstein and appointed Whitaker to obstruct any FBI movement towards Nunez and Kash Patel. So Trump was trying to protect Nunez and Kash Patel so they can keep on leaking to Trump. So Congressman Nunez, when Christopher Wray subpoenaed to seize Nunez phones, their staffers, Kash Patel phones, that's when Kash Patel started cooperating with the FBI. When they started interrogating for intel, Kash Patel started to cooperate. And by that time, Nunez was already out of office. Trump was trying to overthrow the elections for 2020 because he didn't want to get indicted for business racketeering with Exxon. So Trump wanted to hold on to power to evade any prosecution, so he can pardon himself. So he was afraid that when he lost the election, he was afraid that they was going to catch up to him, the law. So Kash Patel was already cooperating against Trump with the FBI. And so Kash Patel said to the FBI that he leaked out to the FBI that Trump was going to take a bunch of archives, intels, that incriminated evidence to Mar-a-Lago, that he was going to stash it in Mar-a-Lago. That's what Kash Patel supposedly told the FBI when they were subpoenaing him, when they were sending Roger Stone to jail, when they were sending Steve Bannon to jail. Kash Patel was supposedly cooperating with the FBI, how Nunes was supposedly leaking the intel to Trump, and that's how Trump skated the law. He obstructed Robert Mueller that way to save his ass and Exxon board members. So Kash Patel was the one that leaked out to the FBI that Trump is going to try to take all those archives that incriminated him in business racketeering, all those classes. Trump loaded up a truck and a half, a Ryder truck full of boxes of papers. They vetted out the whole agencies. Trump had boxes and boxes of intels that he took to Mar-a-Lago because he was afraid that anything might implicate him. So he took a truck and a half load of boxes of documents. And so Kash Patel was the one that leaked out to the FBI that he was going to do that. And so the FBI knew to raid Mar-a-Lago. So they raided Mar-a-Lago. But then Kash Patel all of a sudden started coming up with a conspiracy. Oh, this was crossfire. They were investigating Trump by mistakenly with the dossier. See, but Kash Patel doesn't know nothing about me. He thought there was Hillary Clinton with the British MI6 agent, and then they were trying to. This is what he thinks. Kash Patel, his head thinks that this is why he flipped back to help Trump, and this is why Trump nominated him to be the FBI director nominee. So Kash Patel thinks that it was a conspiracy between Rosenstein and Hillary Clinton and a dossier. And that somehow this was a fake MI6 officer that was incriminating Trump. But Kash Patel never knew about me. He didn't know the angle that I was investigating, which was Trump's Exxon for the love of the Russian Arctic. Nunes knew, because I informed Nunes. But I don't think Nunes informed Kash Patel. I think Nunes kept it to himself and only squealed to Trump. But Kash Patel didn't know. But Nunes plucked Kash Patel because Kash Patel was a lawyer for the Justice Department that worked on intel. So Nunes manipulated Kash Patel to come work for his office to investigate the Trump-Russia collusion in order for Nunes to use Kash Patel as a mark. And he used all the intel that Kash Patel was investigating in order to run to the Pizzagate scandal and alert Trump. And Nunes betrayed the trust that I put in him when I called the Congress and both members, Schiff and Nunes, and I left voice messages. Nunes ran and told Trump. And then Trump put him in the pocket, Nunes. And Nunes plucked Kash Patel out of the Attorney General's office because Kash Patel worked for the Justice Department, but in intel cases. So Nunes didn't tell Kash Patel, I assume, the true reason why he used Kash Patel. So Kash Patel, I think, was clueless. But when the FBI seized his phone, Kash Patel's phone, and Nunes and other staffers, well, Kash Patel thinks that this is the fake dossier that Hillary Clinton, because Kash Patel believes what he sees in the news. He thinks that, this is a fake dossier This is Hillary Clinton. And so he didn't know that it was about Exxon. Or I think at this point he knows, because he flipped back to supporting Nunez and Trump nominated him to be the director. So I don't think he's gullible. I think he knows what he's doing at this point. Kash Patel, look at his scarves. It's all about the cash for him, you know. But at the end of the day, Kash Patel was cooperating with the FBI. He said, "Hey, I heard he took a bunch of boxes to Mar-a-Lago." And that's when the FBI knew to go to Mar-a-Lago and seize the boxes. But I guess Trump got into his ears, Kash Patel ears, as a witness tampering. I guess Trump witness tampered and brainwashed Kash Patel. Oh, this is a witch hunt. This is a dossier. This is MI6. It was a fake dossier, Crossfire. And so he brainwashed Kash Patel into believing, I will support you in a second term. And Trump is like, I'm going to nominate you to vet out the deep state in order to bury me and the allegations of Exxon board members in the Russian Arctic. So now Kash Patel thinks that he's on a mission to vet out the deep state because he thinks that it's got to do with Hillary Clinton's emails. No, it doesn't have nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. We were looking into that too. But it has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton when it came to Trump. It had to do, the MI6 and the Crossfire, yeah, it revealed that Roger Stone was trying to get Julian Assange to leak out emails of Hillary Clinton. Yeah, Roger Stone. He was trying to get Julian Assange to leak out email. But it didn't have to do with that. From my point of view, it had to do with Exxon and the Russian Arctic and how Trump was a shyster of a business con artist. So I don't think Kash Patel, and he believes Trump that it's a witch hunt. But at this point, Kash Patel knows exactly what Trump has in Russia. Anybody with common sense know why Trump keeps on going to Russia. It's not because of his Trump Tower, even though he was trying to get a Trump Tower when he said, hey, I had no pending deals going on in Russia. But Kash Patel, after Kash Patel cooperated with the FBI and said, yeah, Trump is going to take a bunch of intel to Mar-a-Lago. And they raided and they found the boxes. But now Trump witness tampered because he was afraid of Jack Smith. So he got close to Kash Patel and took him in like a gully. Trump gullied Kash Patel, saying, hey, this is the dossier. This is the witch hunt. Look at Fox News. Because Fox News, all they do is propagate whatever Trump says. Murdoch is like a bullhorn for Trump's propaganda and the reporters at Fox News. So Kash Patel, I guess, watched a lot of Fox News to be brainwashed into thinking, oh, the stolen dossier, MI6, and the stolen server. That's what they think. But it's all about Exxon and the Russian Arctic, as far as my participation in the investigation. So now Trump brainwashed Kash Patel to be his nominee to vet out the deep state. And at this point, I think Kash Patel knows that Trump is laying in bed with Exxon in the Russian Arctic. And you don't got to be that shrewd of a politic analyzer to know what Rex Tillerson and Trump was doing in their first term. You don't got to be that shrewd to know the truth of what Trump has for the love of oil and how it implicates him and Exxon board members. So at this point, Kash Patel is just as corrupt as Nunez. Look at Kash Patel's headscarf. His headscarf, he puts a dollar sign in his name. He puts a dollar sign, and he has a green scarf for like money. Green stands for money with dollar signs, and he has a death skull of Trump. Like that's his totalitarian leader. Because Kash Patel, it was corrupt along with Nunez. The FBI got Kash Patel to squeal, but now he flipped back with Trump since Trump won a second term. And now he's cocky about it. Kash Patel's cocky about it. He designed a headscarf, a neck scarf, green, with his first name with a dollar sign in the middle of it. And he has a death scar of Trump. Because he's a corrupt official just like Nunez, Kash Patel is. He got scared. And he cooperated with the FBI. And he leaked out that Trump was going to run like a scared, the B word, to Mar-a-Lago with all the archives. And the FBI ran and intercepted all the boxes. And whatever Trump made copies of, who knows where those papers went. But now Kash Patel thinks that he's an untouchable with Nunez. They think they're untouchables. They think they're above the law with Trump. So Trump put his crony, Kash Patel, as the FBI nominee. Now, Kash Patel is a demented character. He's quick to think like Alex Jones. Kash Patel is quick to believe Trump's deception for the movement or the mega movement. But at the same time, he knows that Trump is in bed with Exxon and Russian Arctic, and he's just about the money. Kash Patel is about the money. He doesn't give a damn. Giuliani is about the money. Giuliani knows exactly more than anybody else. Giuliani knows what Trump is doing with Exxon. But he sent Giuliani to the Four Seasons to overthrow Pennsylvania because of me. They send Senator, I forgot his name, Senator, remember there was a senator running for Trump in Pennsylvania? He was running for governor. They sent him around my neighborhood. I forgot his name, Senator Mastriano. Trump nominated Mastriano from Harrisburg to be a governor in order to overturn the elections for 2024. He wanted to set up Mastriano. So Mastriano came around my neighborhood to do a gathering just in the hopes that I will see it and be antagonized. The same way he sent Giuliani to the Four Seasons, thinking that he was going to turn the 2020 elections. But when he realized he wasn't able to overturn the government to hide from his corruption, because he was still trying to pardon himself. But he realized that he didn't have the ability to pardon himself, so he ran to Mar-a-Lago with all the archives. And so Trump, when he won a second term, Kash Patel was like, I'm immune. We got this. We got this. Trump is above the law. This is a movement. So now Kash Patel is coming out the closet like a sycophant. But him and Nunez know exactly they're corrupt. They take money for Trump. They take a lot of money for Trump. Kash Patel and Nunez. And since the FBI couldn't touch them, now Kash Patel flipped right back into Trump's pocket. He was cooperating, but then when Trump wasn't prosecuted for overthrowing the government in 2020, when he wasn't prosecuted, when that was dismissed, when everything was dismissed, Kash Patel got real cocky and laughing with Trump. And Trump nominated him right back to be his henchman as FBI director to vet out the deep state. Now, Kash Patel is so sick that he draw death scars of Trump on his neck scarf. He make it green just for the greenback, green. And then he put a dollar sign down his name. Kash Patel's first name. He put a dollar sign down it. And then he puts a picture of Trump's death scar as his fixer to vet out the deep state, for Trump can keep on becoming the strong man of the republic. So when I admitted myself to the hospital for depression and stress, Pompeo was the CIA director, and Deputy Haspel, Trump dispatched her to go to the hospital and be undercover to make copies of my archives, along with a State Department, national security lady, official. I forget her name. I believe she was in there acting like she was overseeing the hospital when it came to for me to be discharged. But they were undercovers. They didn't disclose their true identities. Neither Haspel didn't disclose her true identity. But Pompeo was CIA director. And so Trump had Pompeo send Haspel, Deputy Haspel, And I believe that Deputy Haspel was pretending to be like a lawyer, undercover lawyer, supposedly speaking on my behalf. But in reality, they were there to print the archives of papers that I had with me that I was researching and studying while I was at the hospital. Because I was stressed out. I needed time out to relax. I didn't know if Trump was going to send out the CIA to kill me. I didn't know if my friend or families were in danger. Because Trump was willing to use the CIA to hide up his business corruptions. He will be willing to use the CIA to kill me, just to cover up his coattails as a fat cat, a corrupt business official that does business racketeering. So I was stressed out. I went to the hospital to be insulated, but there's nowhere that you can go that the CIA won't reach you. So anyway, I was in there. I wanted to get discharged because I got tired already of being locked up in a unit. I say I wanted to get discharged. They say, oh, you got to go to see the judge in order to get out in the 302. So I went to the courts, and at the time I didn't know who Haspel was. I didn't know her identity, her face, or nothing. And there was a lady there pretending to be the public lawyers for the patients. And from what I can tell of how the lady looked, her murmurs, her nervous tics, her body language, her face, her glasses, everything matched in hindsight. Because what happened when she made the archived printed papers of me to take back to Trump, for Trump to keep on obstructing the Robert Mueller report, that's when Trump fired Whitaker and put Bill Barr. And then Bill Barr finally brought an end to the investigation and concluded by impeding Christopher Wray anymore from having any subpoena power. And then Bill Barr forced the end of the investigation, which was what Trump had intended for Bill Barr to do. So Bill Barr redacted all the evidence and said that there was no collusion. So Trump can brag in the Rose Garden and in the Oval and in the White House press media with a newspaper. Look I found not guilty. There was no collusion, and it was all a cover up by Trump obstructing the Robert Mueller report. But Whitaker got a promotion, so Trump moved Pompeo from CIA director. He gave him a state secretary position because Rex Tillerson was afraid that the FBI was onto him. So Rex Tillerson told Trump, hey, make it seem like we're not getting along. I'll go back into the private sector. I'll go lobby in the United Nations for Exxon interests. Make it seem like we're not getting along. I'm going to call you idiot. I'm going to call you buffoon and just tell me I got to go. That's what they plotted together, Rex Tillerson and Trump. Because Trump found out that the FBI was investigating Exxon. So Rex Tillerson got scared and resigned. And so they made it seem like they weren't getting along. Trump and Rex Tillerson make it seem like they had a fallout. Rex Tillerson called him an idiot. But in reality, Rex Tillerson was scared to go into prison for business racketeering with the rest of Exxon board members as state secretary. So he got scared and jumped out of the administration. So Trump replaced Rex Tillerson with Pompeo. Pompeo was CIA director. So when Haspel took all the archives to the White House, Trump read it. He appointed Bill Barr and got rid of Rosenstein. Of Whitaker, Deputy Whitaker. Whitaker. But Whitaker was a hardliner for Trump. Whitaker was just stopping Rosenstein. That's why Trump got Rosenstein out the way, because Rosenstein put the warrants for Christopher Wray to get the subpoenas to seize Nunez's phones and Kash Patel's. And so Kash Patel started cooperating and snitching on Trump and the truth of Trump corruption. And so Kash Patel say, hey, Trump is going to run all to Mar-a-Lago with all the archives that implicate him with Exxon. So Trump ran and did exactly what Kash Patel snitched out Trump for. But when Trump won the nomination, Kash Patel started coming around and getting cocky. Say, oh, because Kash Patel know that Trump was colluding with Exxon. But when Trump started, like, he won, the Jack Smith case got, because Trump ran out the clock when he got nominated for a second term. So Jack Smith had to close down the case. So Kash Patel got cocky again. And I guess Trump is afraid that Kash Patel snitched on him, so he wants to keep him on his good side. Probably Kash Patel is extorting Trump. So Trump made him his nominee for the FBI director because probably Kash Patel is blackmailing him. But Kash Patel knows. Kash Patel is all about the money for Kash Patel. He's a corrupt official, along with Nunes. But he was cooperating. He was a snitch, as they say. Doesn't Trump say that he's like the Alphonse Capone, better than him? Anyway, Kash Patel was cooperating with the FBI. He knew that Nunes was leaking out to Trump intel while the committee hearings were going on. In order for Trump to escape the law, Nunes was helping Trump escape the law as co-chair of the Intel Committee. And Nunes cannot leak out intel to Trump. If Trump is doing business that is not an official act of the presidency, then Trump is a criminal. And Nunes, as being co-chair, he can't leak out and pre-warn Trump in order for Trump to escape the law. You can't do that as a congressman of a co-chair committee of an intel, foreign intel committee. As a co-chair, the junior co-chair next to Schiff, Nunes cannot leak out intel to the target of the investigation, which is Trump. If Trump is acting in business racketeering, that's not an official act. If him and Rex Tillerson are getting rich and making deals for themselves and using the White House to do it, that's not an official act of a president. So, and by Trump trying to overturn the government in 2020, that's called treason. There's no statute of limitation for treason and anarchy. So Trump can't pardon himself. Even in the White House, Trump can't pardon himself from treason and anarchy because he tried to overturn the election because he was afraid in 2020 that the FBI was going to handcuff him when he goes back into the private sector. That's why Kash Patel was working with the FBI as an informant and alerted the FBI that Trump will take all the archives that incriminated him with Rex Tillerson and everything that he did to obstruct the Mueller report, that he was going to take all those archives to Mar-a-Lago and hide it while he tries to figure out what to do with it. So the only reason Kash Patel flipped back to Trump, because after Trump won the nomination, after Jack Smith case got tossed out, Kash Patel is a scoundrel that takes money. So he probably extorted Trump and blackmailed Trump to get the position of the directorship. He's probably extorted Trump. You don't want me to out you. I know the truth. That's probably what Kash Patel did. You don't want me to out you. Give me a position in your administration. They're probably, between him and Nunes, they're probably extorting Trump, probably for the love of money. Between Kash Patel and Nunes. But they got cocky because they know that Trump at this point is untouchable. So they can ride his coattails and extort Trump for as much money as they can get. Probably Nunes as CEO of his Truth Social and Kash Patel blackmailing him to become director. But at the same time, Kash Patel was clueless to me in my investigation. But at this point, I believe he eventually find out the truth about Exxon in the Russian Arctic with Trump, but he's willing to collude with Trump all the way. Because at this point, Kash Patel thinks that Trump is an untouchable. That there's no way that the Republicans or the Supreme Court Republicans will prosecute Trump. So Kash Patel is like, hey, I'm a gangster. I'm a thug for Trump. He made a scarf. Kash Patel, that's how delusional this scoundrel is, Kash Patel. He made a green scarf for greenbacks, money, paper, and color green scarf. He colored it green, and then he put a $sign in between his first name. And then he put a death skull of Trump Like he's going to be a gangster for Trump and vet out the FBI as a gangster. Because he feels that he's an untouchable. He feels that Trump is like a king of the republic. There's no way that they can touch him and his movement. So Nunez and Trump are riding Trump coattails like grifters. Kash Patel and Nunez. Anyway, Supreme Court justices, when Trump tried, because he was afraid that the FBI, with Kash Patel testifying and cooperating with the FBI, Trump was scared that the coup d'etat didn't work out. He was scared that he wasn't able to steal a second term by overthrowing Biden. And so he ran with all the archives to Mar-a-Lago. And Kash Patel was the witness to it. Kash Patel was informing the FBI, from what I hear. So that's how the FBI knew how to go to Mar-a-Lago, as from what I hear. And so at the end of the day, Nunez and Kash Patel be like, damn, this Trump is untouchable. We're going to use this. We're going to take advantage of it. So Nunez got a cushy job at Truth Social. And Kash Patel is not a nominee of the FBI because he feels like he's a gangster for Trump. He's an untouchable. It's a Trump movement. There's no way that the Democrats will dare to catch up to Trump. So Kash Patel is a thug. He's a corrupt Indian attorney general thug. He's a scoundrel. He's not like a Gandhi. He's the opposite of Gandhi. Gandhi will be ashamed of Kash Patel. Anyway, this scoundrel con artist Kash Patel realized that he didn't get arrested when he was cooperating, informing on Trump and Mar-a-Lago archives. He realized, oh my God, they didn't touch him. Oh my God, the Supreme Court said it was an official act. Oh my God, they dismissed the Jackson case. So now Kash Patel is back on the bandwagon. And this time around, he's extorting Trump because he knows all the details about Trump, all his skeletons. So Kash Patel is trying to be like a Hoover, blackmail Trump for him to make me director. That's what Kash Patel is trying to do with Trump. He's like the Hoover. He knows all the skeletons in the closet. And so Trump is scared that Kash Patel will squeal again to the public. This time not to the FBI, but to the public. He's afraid of Kash Patel squealing. So he nominated him. And Kash Patel is a thug. He's a thug. He's a corrupt attorney that was plucked by Nunez to work close with Nunez. And so he took advantage of the situation. Not once, but twice. And now he's running for the nomination of the FBI. And Trump doesn't want no FBI background on him. Can you imagine? Trump doesn't want the FBI to have backgrounds on him because Trump is afraid that all the truth will come out about Kash Patel cooperating. So he's not willing to have an FBI background on Kash Patel. Can you imagine that shit? Can you imagine how corrupt this government is? So I will say to the Supreme Court justices, Trump overthrowing the government, that's against the Constitution. That is not an official act. Trump running to Mar-a-Lago like a corrupt citizen, running with archives that implicated him in corrupt business dealings for the love of Rex Tillerson and Exxon board members, that is not an official act. That is an abuse of office. That is violation of public office to enrich yourselves with business racketeering, backroom dealing, direct violations of the Emoluments Clause, and quid pro quos. That's basically Supreme Court justices making a Ponzi scheme out of the Oval Office. You could say a 4-year commercial for the love of profiteering of snake oil remedies. That has nothing to do with official acts to line your pockets and to enrich yourselves like that's your private bank. The Oval Office is a piggy bank? I don't think so. That's not official acts. That's abuse of public office. Didn't Senator Menendez get indicted for having Egyptian gold bars in his wife's closet? Didn't Congressman George Santos for embezzling money that should have gone to charity and saved dogs' lives? Didn't he get kicked out of Congress? That's one branch, right? That's one branch. Judges, when y'all take bribes, like like gifts, expensive gifts, like Clarence Thomas and Judge Alito. When y'all take private gifts to sway your opinions with people that go in front of your courts with cases of real estate developments. You know? Ain't that a conflict of interest that y'all shall recuse yourself enough to get y'all impeached from the bench? So you start to see that every branch is equal when it comes to corruption. So why the hell do y'all think is the Supreme Court justices? Because y'all packed the right side of the bench with Trump appointees. How the hell you think corruption and abuse of law to enrich yourselves and abuse of public office to be a fat cat, a robber baron with world liberty, where your son Eric Trump goes to the Emirates to beg for crypto investments? Why Eric Trump goes over there with world liberty? You think Trump has blind trust? He divested himself from it? And somehow he has blind trust in his son to go with world liberty, promoting world liberties in the Emirates. Didn't Jared take $2 billion from the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to launder it into Trump real estate? Didn't Trump take $10 million from the Egyptian president's central bank to launder it into his tax Save America PAC and then pocket the money as a tax reimbursement? And he pocketed $10 million from the Egyptian president. Now you got Trump with world liberty, crypto, sending Eric Trump to the Emirates to visit every Emirate royal families, talking about real estate investments, talking about world liberties. And this is legal, right? Judge Roberts, this is legal. Roberts said unlimited campaign funds. Unlimited. The sky's the limit when it comes to campaigns. So this is capitalism run amok. This is not an official act, I tell you that. Like Ryan Priebus, Trump's first chief of staff. There was a civil rights summit that I wanted to invite Obama. I wanted to invite Hillary Clinton. I wanted to invite all the governors of the union and all the senators and Congress representatives to the Lincoln's Financial Stadium. When Trump was alienating Africans at his rallies in Chicago, when he was insisting that to punch the African people, he'll pay for your legal fees for his white supporters to punch Africans at his rallies, to take him out in stretchers like the good old days. So I wanted to have a civil rights summit in the Lincoln Financial Stadium that the Comcast family owned. So I was reaching out to the mayor, the governors, and Congress representatives to initiate America's Civil Rights Summit, because I thought Trump was alienating not only African civil rights, but Muslims' faith, to believe in their faith peacefully. He wanted to ban Muslims because of their faiths. He wanted to subjugate black civil rights in his rallies and insist that they assault demonstrators, peaceful demonstrators, especially what happened in Chicago. Chicago was an atrocity. Chicago, there were African peaceful demonstrators with signs that were not pro-Trump signs inside the Chicago stadiums, and Trump supporters started shoving them around, pushing them, shoving them, and telling them, get out the stadium, or we're going to hurt you. Even females were being shoved around in the stadiums by grown men that were twice or three times the size of the African woman, pushing her around, and all she could do is smile peacefully while they shoved her around. Grown men pushing an African woman around, and all she could do is pro-peace and smile while they try to assault her and take her out in stretchers like the good old days. So the Secret Service was trying to bring in Trump to the stadium into the back, but they figured that the riots broke out inside the stadium because of his white supporters assaulting African demonstrators that were there peacefully, because they had negative anti-Trump signs that white people started assaulting them inside the stadium. So the Secret Service thought that it was not a safe environment for Trump. So they ushered Trump away from the stadium, and Trump had to run through this open gate. There was a gate that a chain link gate that it was broken. So Trump had to run through an open sewer with the Secret Service and run underneath that gate, that chain link gate, in order to get to the armored vehicle and for them to usher him off. So a helicopter caught Trump running away with the Secret Service, and he got embarrassed about it. And that's what led up to Trump's Charlottesville and how they were finding people on both sides, because Trump felt that moment embarrassed them. So he always took a grudge against Black Lives Matter because of that moment when Trump was running out to the stadium, caught on camera from a helicopter running through an open sewer and ducking underneath a chain link fence with the Secret Service, ushering him off into an armored vehicle. He got real embarrassed about that in 2015 when he was running for the first election. So he took a grudge against Obama. He took it because it was Chicago where this happened. So he thought Obama was behind this, when really it wasn't Obama. It was Trump insisting that they get assaulted. African people get assaulted at his rallies, that they get carried out in stretchers. So in Chicago, when Africans were just in the stadium waiting for Trump to come peacefully, they had anti-Trump signs. But the people, the white audience, read the signs and started pushing them. There's a famous video of them pushing an African woman. And these are grown men, 3 times her size. And they're shoving her back and forth like she's a pinball, bouncing back and forth. And all she could do is hold her hands down peacefully and smile while they pushing her back and forth. It's an atrocity what Trump was insisting for his supporters to do to black people. So I was calling for a American Civil Rights Summit, that all the governors of all the unions and all the senators and Congress representatives and all the presidents, all the living presidents, were to be summoned to Lincoln Financial Stadium for American Civil Rights Summits to see what was to happen to this Trump movement that was unraveling, about to start a civil war because of Trump and his supporters and his boogaloos, his oath keepers, his Atemwaffens, the Ku Klux Klans. They were all getting riled up with the Confederacy. So I wanted to hold an American Civil Rights Summit in order to prevent a civil war from unraveling in his first term. But let's get back to Trump and Exxon. Trump used Bill Barr. So let's go back to Ryan Priebus. I invited Ryan Priebus. He was the RNC chairman before Trump won the nomination. Before Trump won in 2015. Ryan Priebus was the RNC chairman. So I emailed him an invitation to the Civil Rights Summit, Ryan Priebus. And I guess Trump found out that I reached out to him because Ryan Priebus said, he said, I got the email, I got to read it. He said, I will no longer be RNC. I'm moving on to being vaguely, the email said that he's no longer the RNC, that he's going to be Trump's chief of staff. That's what the email response was insinuating. So I guess Trump found out about that email and he got mad and he fired Ryan Priebus, because when the Haspo from the hospital archives, when she went back to Pompeo and Pompeo took all the papers to the White House, I guess Trump found the email of me emailing Ryan Priebus, and so Trump fired his chief of staff, Ryan Priebus. So that's fast forward to 2020. Trump, Rex Tillerson went in hiding. They make it seem like they're not getting along. They had a fallout. Trump is an idiot. He doesn't understand foreign policy. He's an idiot. And then he went. In reality, Rex Tillerson said, "Look, it is getting hot. The FBI is catching on to us. I'm leaving." And he went to work as an energy lobbyist in the United Nations. While Trump controls the government, he's going to try to lobby foreign nations like the Emirates for the love of this petrodollar. So Rex Tillerson went to work for the United Nations. And then when Hasbro brought the papers to Pompeo as the director at CIA, Pompeo, he took all the archives, and I guess Trump found out the email communication with me and Reince Priebus, and he fired Reince Priebus as chief of staff. And he promoted Pompeo to state secretary because he was overwhelmed that Pompeo helped him obstruct the Mueller report. So he nominated Pompeo from CIA director to state of, secretary of state, and he gave Hasbro a promotion to be director. And so in 2020, Trump couldn't pardon himself because officially he still was in charge. So he couldn't pardon himself because he supposedly he can't pardon himself if there's no crimes. You can't say to the country, I pardon myself, because then they're going to scratch their head and say, for what? So, because he already got Bill Barr to redact the evidence and to say that he was found acquitted of any charges because he obstructed it. So he was afraid of that leaking out. So he tried to overturn the government in 2020 to try to skate the law and not be sent to prison. Because Bill Barr said that Trump was overthrowing the government, that Trump knew that the elections weren't lost, like stolen. He knew that he lost fair and squared, or may I say scared. But Bill Barr knew that Trump lost the elections, along with Hasbro, CIA director, along with Christopher Wray. They all knew that Trump lost the election. They all testified to that. Director CIA Hasbro, Director Christopher Wray, and Attorney General Bill Barr. See, Bill Barr knew when they almost hanged Mike Pence, and they almost killed Nancy Pelosi, and they almost blew up Kamala Harris at the DNC with 2 pipe bombs. He knew that shit was getting out of control. Bill Barr knew that shit was getting out of control. And he knew that there was no evidence that Trump was claiming. There was no evidence to substantiate it. Christopher Wray knew that. Hasbro knew that. The only one Trump was relying on was Sidney Powell and Giuliani as their crony lawyers to try to overturn the swing states, which still Trump has to stand trial in Georgia for. And if I was the governors in Pennsylvania and then the other swing states that Trump tried to overthrow with Giuliani, you should hold him accountable in court. He can't pardon himself as a president if he violated the Constitution of the Union. He could be tossed into jail with handcuffs from the Oval Office to be sentenced to jail. And the Supreme Court, Trump has no immunity when he's doing unofficial acts. So y'all got to find him guilty and Rex Tillerson for Exxon for the love of Russian Arctic Energies, because they can't use the White House as their own piggy bank, as their own Ponzi schemes. They can't do that. That's not an official act. That's an abuse of public office. Ethic laws. If y'all Supreme Court justice know anything about ethics, or are y'all void when it comes to ethic laws on how to carry yourself as a official of the government. There's ethics laws that violate any business racketeering to enrich yourselves. Look at world liberty. What Trump is doing, 2.0. They say Trump is 2.0. Now he's going to be using crypto so foreign leaders can use shadow bankings and a deep web to prop up blockchain investments into his corporation, that Trump can pump and dump boom and bust cycles and launder that money into his pockets, for he can launder it into Wall Street and have investments in blue chip companies. And some of that he'll pocket it into his real estate. But he's using tariff wars to do that, to get nations to invest in his cryptos, blackmailing other sovereign leaders. And that's not an official act, is it, Supreme Court Justice? Roberts, you voted for unlimited campaign funds. You're the one that represents this capitalism run amok as Chief Justice, because you voted for this shit. You voted for this type of degeneracy that are rotting the 3 branches of government with what they call that fungi of greed, green fungi for the greenback. The tree, the limbs are rotten and hollowed. Supreme Court Justices, Judge Roberts, Your decision has to be overturned when it comes to campaign, unlimited campaign funds, and how special interests can bribe their way into the Oval Office. All of that has to be worked out and abolished. Capitalism run amok. So, all that is part of the intel, if y'all want to know the truth. And so Trump asked Giuliani and Sidney Powell. Now, Sidney Powell's a sick individual. Her and Michael Flynn. Her and Michael Flynn are QAnon Vault followers. These are people that thought that John F. Kennedy Jr. was going to come back from the depository in the same location where his father Kennedy was killed, and he was going to emerge from the Texas Library Depository to be Trump's vice ticket. And there were occult Trump supporters, QAnons, waiting for Trump for John F. Kennedy Jr. to emerge. So they stood around for days, encircling the Texas Depository, QAnons, and they realized that he was never going to show up. So I guess they got the next best thing, his cousin Robert F. Kennedy, to be Trump's health whatever. But it's crazy that Sidney Powell and Michael Flynn they run with Q. They run with Q. They swear themselves to Q. And it's crazy. This Trumpery movement. It's crazy. Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell. Sidney Powell was cohorted with Giuliani to overthrow the swing states. Now, Giuliani knows exactly what Trump was doing with Rex Tillerson. When Giuliani went to Ukraine to find the stolen server, it was for the love of oil, to blackmail Zelensky, because Putin lied to Trump and said that the stolen server of Hillary Clinton's chief of staff, what's his name, Anthony Weiner, they said that his stolen server ended up in Ukraine and that Zelensky had possession of it. That's what Putin said to Trump. And Trump believed him. Trump believed him. And Trump blackmailed Zelensky. He sent Giuliani with two energy partners that were like fixers for companies in Ukraine. Giuliani, when he was whining and dining his crony business partners, and they cooperated too with the FBI, and they admitted they were over there for oil deals. But Giuliani was over there as an ambassador for Trump to talk to Zelensky and to get him to blackmail Zelensky for a stolen server. And Zelensky didn't know what the heck he was talking about. He didn't know what the heck Trump was talking about. But Giuliani was over there like smoking cigars, drinking wine with his two energy partners, because Exxon wanted to control the energy coming from Russia Arctic into Ukrainian pipelines that would flood Western Europe. So it was important for Exxon to get those pipelines, but Trump wanted a stolen server that Putin lied to him and said Zelensky had it. And he was obsessed about it. It came out in the news and everything. And everybody flipped. Except Giuliani and Trump. And Giuliani was scared. So when he came back, Giuliani was trying to overthrow the swing states because he didn't want to go to jail, along with Trump, in 2020. So Giuliani came to Pennsylvania, and then Four Seasons. All the media, fake news, all the media. He was scared. That's why his eyes were bulging out. Him and Sidney Powell was trying to overturn like 4 swing states in order for Trump to still stay in power and try to vet out the anything that implicated him with the Robert Mueller report or anything that implicated him with Exxon. But when the coup d'etat didn't happen, when they almost hanged Mike Pence, when they almost killed Nancy Pelosi in her office, when they almost blew up Kamala Harris terrorists. I'm not saying Trump ordered these people to do it, but these were his sycophants, his terror groups, the Boogaloos, the Oath Keepers, the Ku Klux Klan, the Confederacy, the Nazis. You know, these extreme people that like to support Trump. When they got carried away and almost wanted to hang Mike Pence and wanted to kill Nancy Pelosi in her office, they put 2 pipe bombs under the bench of the DNC in the hopes that Kamala Harris will come close to the bench as she walks down, and they will blow up Kamala Harris with 2 pipe bombs. So that by that time, Bill Barr knew that there was no evidence that showed that Biden lost. There was no evidence. Neither Christopher Wray, neither Haspel. They all agreed that he lost, that Trump lost. So he got scared. He got scared more than ever and ran to Mar-a-Lago with all the boxes. At that point, Kash Patel was already cooperating with the FBI and warned them that he was going to go to Mar-a-Lago with all the boxes. And so they went and raided for the boxes. By this time, Kash Patel said, oh my God, Trump is immune. This guy's untouchable. Him with Nunes. And so Kash Patel blackmailed Trump, I know all your dirt. You want me to out you? And Trump is like, no, what you want? And Kash Patel is like, make me a FBI director. And since Kash Patel know that he was cooperating with the FBI, but Kash Patel is trying to make it seem like, oh, it's Crossfire, oh, it's Rosenstein and the dossier, the fake dossier for the emails, and they're trying to hide Hillary Clinton's emails. But in reality, Kash Patel knows all about Exxon, but he's using it as a pretext in order to deflect off of Trump and onto Hillary like it's a witch hunt. Kash Patel is a dirty, I don't want to curse, but he's a dirty F. You know, Bill Barr was interviewed after 2020 in MSNBC. They asked Bill Barr, do you think Trump lost? He said, yeah, I have no doubt that he lost. And then they interviewed him again towards the 2024, or may I say, towards this election, the second election for Trump. They right before the 24 elections, they interviewed Bill Barr, and they said they asked him again, do you think he lost, and do you think that it's no basis, he has no basis? He's like, definitely, I think there's no basis, he lost. And they said, will you vote for him? He said, if he wins the nomination, I'll vote for him again. Now you see how grimy that is? You got your attorney general saying, yeah, he was trying to overturn the election, which is unconstitutional. Bill Barr said that he was trying to overturn the election, which is unconstitutional. And in that effort, because Trump was trying to collude with Exxon, and he was afraid that by overthrowing the elections, when it didn't work out, he ran to Mar-a-Lago with archives. In that same event, Bill Barr said, yeah, he won. He had no basis for trying to overturn the election. He won. He lost. He didn't win. Because Trump kept on saying, I won, and there was no evidence. They did audits over and over again in swing states that was seen by Homeland Security, FBI, CIA. These audits were overseen by all the administration agencies. That's why Haspel was like, there's no evidence. Christopher Wray said there's no evidence. And Bill Barr overseen it and said there was no evidence. So, anyway, but they asked his opinion, will you vote for him again? And Bill Barr says, yeah, if they nominated him again, I'll vote for him again. That's how you know he's a crony lawyer. That's how you know he's willing to obstruct Robert Mueller. Because if, as an attorney general, a chief attorney general that served under an administration, a presidential administration, if you know your leader, that your chief and commander, while you're attorney general, if you know that in your term as attorney general, the president tried to overturn the election because he was afraid of going to jail with Exxon, that he tried to overthrow the government. If you know that Mike Pence almost got hanged for it, if you know Nancy Pelosi almost got killed in her office. If you know the DNC, Kamala Harris almost got blown up with 2 pipe bombs. And you're Bill Barr, the Attorney General, and this happened under your watch. And they ask you, do you think he lost? And you say, yeah, I believe he lost. And then they ask you, would you vote for him again? Well, if they nominate him again, I'll vote for him again. You're going to be an Attorney General knowing that your leader is a business racketeer, that he almost overthrew the government because he didn't want to go to jail. And you're going to say, yeah, he lost. There's no doubt he lost. And then you know all the corruptions and how he obstructed the Robert Mueller report. For the love of Exxon, Bill did that. Bill Barr. Bill did that. He knew Trump and Rex Tillerson. He knew Exxon's deal with Trump. Bill Barr did. But he got hired for that. He was Trump's fixer to redact all the evidence and close the case. He did what Trump hired him to do, Bill Barr. But when Trump went a little bit too far for Exxon and covering up his business deals, when Trump tried to overturn the government because he was too afraid of getting caught and going to prison, and Bill Barr see that the shit hit the fan, he panicked. He said, I'm not going this far. This has gone too far. That's when Sessions was like, I'm through, I'm done. Right? But these scoundrels, Bill Barr said, but if they nominated him again, I'll vote for him again. You're supposed to be practicing the law and upholding the law impartially. So you're not supposed to have a sway one way or another. You should be impartial as an attorney general and judge it down the middle. So Bill Barr, you know that Trump was laying down in Exxon for the love of energy when you redacted the reports and obstructed and closed down Robert Mueller. You knew that, Bill Barr. But you thought he went a little bit too far. You thought he went a little bit too far by overthrowing the government because he was panicking that he was going to get caught and go to prison. So when Trump realized he lost the coup d'etat, you wasn't willing to go that far. Right, Bill Barr? You're not going to go to jail for treason. You're not going to go to prison for life for Trump and his business racketeering. So he was on MSNBC, Bill Barr. He was cameoing several times on MSNBC, interviewing. After that, after the coup d'etat failed, yeah, he lost. He lost. There was no evidence. He lost. He lost. Right? But then they asked him, if they nominated him again for 2024, would you vote for him? Yeah, if they nominate him again. So you're going to be Attorney General. That shows how crooked you are as a lawyer. That shows how dirty of a lawyer you are. You covered up for Exxon and Trump and obstructed and redacted the Robert Mueller report. And then you seen that you didn't want to go too far to the point of hanging Mike Pence for the love of Exxon and Trumpisms. Business, you didn't want to go that far to cover them up. Right, Bill Barr? You didn't want to go that far to cover them up. You didn't want to get Mike Pence hanged. You didn't want to get Nancy Pelosi slaughtered in the office with Trump supporters. You didn't want to, and I'm not saying Trump ordered the rioters to do this, but they were stroked with Trump's lies. They were stroked, and all they seen is fire and fury in their eyes to help their beloved leader. These militias that Trump says stand down and stand by. So Bill Barr didn't want to go that far with Trump and overthrow the government, let alone be charged for almost hanging Mike Pence, almost killing Nancy Pelosi, almost blowing up Kamala Harris with 2 pipe bombs. Bill Barr and Christopher Wray and Secretary of the CIA Hasbro, Director Hasbro, none of y'all wanted to go that far with Trump. Y'all were willing to lay down for the love of Exxon and cover up for him. Y'all were willing to cover up for him for Exxon. Right? But y'all didn't want to go that far with his delusions and have Mike Pence be hanged, have Nancy Pelosi. Y'all didn't want to go that far. Y'all thought that was a little bit too extreme. That was too much extreme of trumping over the government. There was too much extreme of trumping over the government. But let me show you how Bill Barr, his law degree asks him to be impartial, to judge it down the middle. Right? That's what the courts teach you. That's what law degrees teach you. Right, Bill Barr? But you obstructed Robert Mueller. You obstructed the Robert Mueller report. You tried Christopher Wray's hands. You didn't give him no more subpoenas, warrants. So you stopped the FBI dead in their tracks. And Haspel, I'm not forgetting about Haspel. If that was you in the hospital taking my archives to Pompeo, yeah. You know Haspel, because I told you it was all about Exxon. So even you as CIA director knew that Trump was in bed with Exxon. If that was you, Haspel, and that's how you got your promotion, over me, yeah. Who am I? Nobody, right? Compared to y'all, y'all high and mighty, y'all the seat of government. I'm nobody, huh? But when y'all see this business corruption of Trump was a little bit too far, too extreme, too radical, that his vice president almost paid the ultimate price, that Nancy Pelosi almost got slaughtered in the office, that Kamala Harris almost got blown up with 2 pipe bombs at the DNC. That's when y'all decided to step off the Trump bandwagon. That's when Lindsey say, call me through, I'm out, I'm done. That's when Mitch McConnell say, this has never been done, oh, blah, blah. Y'all turn all, Chris Cruz, Ted Cruz, y'all all turned against him. Rubio, y'all all turned against him. All of y'all. And then when Trump made the Speaker of the House go to Mar-a-Lago and kiss the ring, that's when you all say, maybe there's a chance of saving Trump. Before Matt Gaetz got him removed as Speaker. The fiasco of Trumpery. The fiasco of Trumpery. Read it up in a dictionary. That's the Trump loins, the DNA of Trump. Trumpery. So let's go back to Bill Barr. How impartial the judicial attorney generals can be. Chief Attorney General. You got Trump, for the love of Exxon, trying to overthrow the government because he was too afraid of being indicted. But when he realized that he didn't win the coup d'etat, he ran to Mar-a-Lago with boxes. And Kash Patel was cooperating with the FBI at the time. Say, yeah, this was happening. Nunez was leaking. Yeah, Trump is going to run to Mar-a-Lago. Because Kash Patel was scared. He was cooperating. But all these people like Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, they all jump back on the Trump bandwagon. Because politicians, they flip like paper bags. Wherever the wind is blowing, they flip back and forth. Anytime that the wind direction changes. They don't give a fuck about morality or decency or dignity. They just, whatever the wind flows, they flop back and forth. And they're thin like a wet paper bag. You can't hold nothing on them. When public opinion strikes down upon them, they crack like wet paper bags. But if they feel they can flow with the direction of the wind, they're quick to change directions, no matter what happens, no matter what atrocities. They just don't want to be slaughtered by public opinion. So when Trump almost threw the government, the Republicans thought they were going to get repercussions because of it. And they were quick to throw Trump underneath the bus. But when Matt Gaetz made the Speaker go to Mar-a-Lago and kiss the ring, all of a sudden, the next day, all the Republicans are like, oh, maybe we can make him look presidential again. Bill Barr say, hey, he lost the elections, but if they nominate him, I'll vote for him again. So you start to see how corrupt these 3 branches are. You start to see how corrupt. So let me conclude with Trump 2.0. With Trump 2025 project. Trump is going to try to put the end to the war, which not for Exxon, but for peace. I believe that the war in Ukraine should come to an end. But it's not for Exxon, but Trump is for Exxon. He's throwing Lazinski underneath the bus again and again and again. Because Exxon wants to use the Russian Arctic, because Trump is going to raise sanctions off of Russia. And Putin doesn't want to prop up the petrodollar, but he's going to make it seem like, yeah, I'm for the petrodollar. I'm for the petrodollar. And then Trump is going to try to raise sanctions off of Russia to get Exxon back into the Russian Arctic. But then Trump is going to try to get a coup d'etat with the CIA to try to overthrow Putin. But Putin already knows Trump's steps. Putin already knows Trump's steps. So I don't even think Exxon can go back into the Russian Arctic, because I don't think Russia will allow it. And if it does, it must be a compromise, an entrapment, a snare, a trap for Trump. And Trump is a klutz. He falls into snares every time. If you look at his rallies, you know how dim-witted he is. So he will be trying to get Ukrainian energy, Russian Arctic energy. He will raise sanctions off of Russia, promise Putin, I'll raise sanctions if you let Exxon go back into the Russian Arctic. And NATO and America almost ransacked the whole of the Kremlin. You think Putin wants to prop up the petrodollar? But he'll smile in Trump's face. He'll cheer on Trump with mirror, mirror on the wall. Trump is the fairest of them all. Yeah, Putin would do that. Definitely he would do that. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Trump is the fairest of them all. He'll probably give him a soccer ball for Trump to say, I have no reason to trust my intelligence and no reason to doubt Putin, with a sucker holding a soccer ball. But Trump like accolades. He like hoarding accolades, so good luck with that sucker or the ball. Anyway, so Trump, he doesn't give a fuck. Excuse me for cursing. I apologize. Viewer discretion is advised for this particular video. No under kids. I don't post my videos for underage. So y'all all adults, but I have to apologize because I try to control my temper and not curse. So Trump will always throw Lazinski underneath the bus for the love of Exxon. He'll throw anybody and anything and everything over for the love of profiteering. Trump wants to be a robber baron on the world stage to the day he dies. He wants to be the strong arm of the republic to the day he dies, and leave an empire of a dynasty for his children. Maybe Trump Jr. will try to follow and emulate the mega movement after his father's dead. Or Eric Trump, maybe Ivanka, who knows? Jared, who knows? Nepotism. They try to run with power after Trump is dead in like a dynasty type of thing. But Trump wants to be a robber baron. World Liberty is a perfect example of how he's wanting to extort the world with tariffs in the hope that he could take kickbacks through his cryptos, with shadow bankings, of course, and the deep dark web. So it would appear with bots that these are legit chain block transitions, but they come from the dark web with bots and the shadow bankings of foreign nations. Covered up, to make it seem like it's legit crypto. Chain block transactions. Anyway, Eric Trump is walking over there to the Emirates, begging the princesses and the kings of the Emirates to, hey, my papa's in the office again. I'm looking for real estate investments. And they already know because Trump is flaunting this world liberty. So it's a back channel into laundering into Trump. But Trump is just a despot of a business. Trump has no shame in his game. I'm telling you that. At this point, in the shadows, I know that Trump has no shame in his game. He's a true venomous snake, and he has no quarrels with being sneaky or snaky. When his father read him The Great Venomous Snake every time he tucked them in, remember Trump says, my father taught me to be a killer. So when you take that story, Trump father read him every night he went to bed, the venomous snake story. You think Trump, that his father taught him to be a killer, you think Trump ever imagined himself as the gullible woman, or what his pop tucked him into bed to be, a venomous snake? That's the gist of the story. That's the gist of the story. His father was cunning. If he had to be sneaky and snaky to finish his businesses, he had to learn how to outsnake his opponents. And even if he had to bite them with venom. Definitely how to be a killer, not a gullible woman. Trump is not about being a hopeless, gullible woman. If you could tell by now, he tries to be a snake when it comes to oil. He tries to be a killer when it comes to venom. So Trump has no shame. He will hang Mike Pence. He will get Nancy Pelosi slaughtered. He will blow up Kamala Harris and have no cries about it. He would think it's better than Washington, better than the American Revolution. He already going to pardon the prisoners of January 6th, but he already said that his speech on January 6th was better than Martin Luther King, I Had a Dream speech. And he said that he had bigger crowds on January 6th than Martin Luther King. So that's how you know this guy's a snake. That's how you know this guy's a venom. Anyway, going back to what he's doing I will bring peace in one day to Ukraine. In the first day in office, it will be settled. Because he's going through back channels begging Putin, please let Exxon back. Now, Trump is not gullible too, like a tender woman. Putin senses Trump moving in the hopes that Trump thinks that he's going to move in there and somehow do a Yeltsin and overthrow Putin. That's what the CIA wants too. That's what the CIA wants. For Trump to befriend Putin again, in the hopes that we can prop up a rebellion and overthrow. That's what the CIA wants with Trump. I'm not for overthrowing Putin, by the way. I'm not. Because Putin went to war with a special mission to root out the Azimov battalion, because Putin seen what was going on in Charlottesville, because he was worried about me and everything that was going on in America. It alarmed him. If a civil war breaks out in America and it's white extremisms, if the Pentagon is full of Nazis and KKK dirty guerrilla fighters, if Trump is stroking white supremacy, then that's the war that will break out World War III. So Putin was preparing himself in case all hell broke loose in America. You think overthrowing the government, hanging Nancy Pelosi, slaughtering Nancy Pelosi in her office, hanging Mike Pence, Putin seen that and be like, he's like, America's about to fall apart with Trumpisms. So he invaded the Azimov battalion in Ukraine. But by that time, Biden already took office and didn't realize, he wanted to preempt the Azimov battalion. And when they said, he's making up the excuse of Nazism. No, Putin is concerned about the white Trump supremacy movement. Now, he might not show it because he's a savvy officer. He grew up as a savvy officer. So he's going to play Trump with mirror, mirror on the wall. You're the fairest of them all, Trump. He's going to put mirrors in front of Trump's face. Look at that. Look at your face. Look so beautiful. Look at your makeup. Oh, you look like gold dust. You look like Mr. Perfect. Oh, you're the best president in American history. That's what they're going to say to Trump. But they know why Trump is snaking his way back like a snake for the Russian Arctic. Because in this strategies, Britain, BP, Dutch, Royal Dutch, they all want to covet the Russian Arctic. The rest of the European members want to covet the Russian Arctic. But America wants to keep it pegged to dollars. They want to overthrow Putin like Yeltsin and put a puppet for the West. A puppet that will prop up the petrodollar. That will knock two birds out of with one stone. That means that out of the 5 permanent members, now is 4 members against China. China stands alone as a permanent member. So that means that the global south will get sabotaged because China can't do nothing by itself. And then they will quad China in with the 4 eyes and the quad members to get them to invade China in the hopes that America, as a world sole superpower, can block all the nations on earth from being permanent members, because America wants to be an imperial with manifest destiny over the world, to rule the world with impunity, to imprison the world to our currency, and to dominate with impunity the world, the global order. So between France, Britain, and America, excuse me, it's the wrong order. Between America, Britain, and France, America is the world's sole superpower. Britain is a gone, shriveled up empire. They can't do nothing to compete with America. Neither can France. So they're going along for the ride. But as Western allies, the Eurozone members, they all need fossil fuel energies from Russia. They all need fossil fuel energies from Russia. But they don't like Putin because of America and NATO, what happened in Ukraine. They don't like Putin. But that they want to encroach on Ukraine and make it part of NATO. That's another reason why Putin didn't want Ukraine to be indoctrinated into NATO, because they're stocking on Putin and the Russian government to covet the Russian Arctic energy. And so they're trying their best to prop up insurgency within his regime, hoping that they will overthrow him with propaganda, like a little uprising, for they can toss him out like and put a Boris Yeltsin, you know. So so when they got Yeltsin to overthrow Gorbachev, you know, that's what they want. They want a Yeltsin that will put oligarchs, federal oligarchs, you know, a Russian pro-federal reserve, if you get what I'm saying, for the petrodollar, to be for the West to covet the Russian Arctic, but for the American dollar to float the whole world in enslavement, including the rest of Europeans, because Britain and France and the rest of the Eurozone is enslaved too to this one hegemonic power. So they're victimized too. They're victimized. So you got Britain, France, and the rest of the Western Alliance. They're victimized under this world hegemonic power, this world global, impunite, one so selfish nation on earth. And the rest of the world's nations are under it. That's why they have their all-seeing eye, because it's like the pyramid it's like they on top of the world, and the eye is like the all-seeing eye, that all nations, omnibus pluribus, all nations made out of one, and one nation rules over the world, and that's the petrodollar, and that's the Washington paganism, and they use the dollar bill for that symbolism, omnibus pluribus, of all nations under one. Or how did it go? The Greek saying for that omnibus pluribus of all. Let me look it up right now, so I can tell you exactly the definition, because I don't recollect the wording. So let me look it up right now. Give me a minute. So, omnibus or pluribus omnibus means out of many one. It started with the union of the state of our union, but with Manifest Destiny, they felt like they destined to rule over the world with their Christianic faith. So I study symbolisms of flags and shields. Every country have their flag symbolisms. They have their different departments of state has shields, and so I study the symbolisms of governments to understand what they're trying to insinuate with abstract symbolisms. And so America has like a warped sense of ruling over the world. And so I sometimes I like to use their symbolisms as analogies to a nation's ambition. It's not that I'm trying to be a conspirator. It's that I study symbolisms of shields and flags, and I understand the symbolism between nations and what they try to project on the world stage. So I'm not going to use no more analogies in this video and symbolisms to show America's greed on the world stage. I'm going to conclude this video and conclude it with a second video to understand America's where we're headed at as a country, not only nationally but on the world stage. And so this is I'm teaching like a theologian, an analyzer of knowledge and wisdom, and I'm trying to use sometimes analogies to point the truth. But at the same time, I'm trying to warn this country of the corruption and the gluttony of greed, especially under Trump. It has to come to an end. The corruption in office, the corruption of fossil fuels, all that has to come to an end.